Hello everyone and welcome to question 66 of the Q&A series. This one might be a bit of a long one actually because I've got quite a few examples here of different things, so just bear with me. Has a song ever brought you to tears? If so, what was it about the song that made you cry? So yes, several times I've cried, and for me it's because I actually link songs to memories a lot of the time. And then that sometimes can be a good memory that's now that far in the distance, and maybe someone that's related to that memory has passed away or no longer in my life for whatever reason. And then that can make me more upset because it's now actually not a bad memory, but it's linked to something slightly negative within the positive. Sometimes the memory itself is just bad anyway, or links to a bad time in my life. Like there's a couple of songs from like 2013 where I was going through a particularly rough time in my childhood, with family life, and now if I hear those, my brain just automatically links back to that time, and I usually just turn the music over or whatever. Or sometimes I try and make myself listen to it. I try to say it's not that bad. I'm here today, and that's fine. So sometimes I just find a song or the way it's performed really overwhelming, and sometimes crying, or sometimes if I don't want to cry in the performance, crying after the performance is my only way to get over it. It sometimes is even actually a combination of all these things. So now we're going to go into a couple of sob stories or examples, if we don't want to call them sob stories. And the first one being when I was 14, so just shortly, around actually 2013 actually. My best friend passed away in a road traffic accident. And she adored Ollie Murs and the film Frozen as well, actually. And then for a long time after that, as a consequence, any time I heard a song by Ollie Murs or from the film Frozen, I would then get quite upset and I'd cry in a lot of cases. We did perform actually a song from both Ollie Murs and Frozen at her funeral. So again, every time then I heard those songs in particular, even if it was just like if I was shopping somewhere, because they were quite sort of the height of the time as well, they were quite popularly played. Nowadays, if I hear Ollie Murs or Frozen, it depends on what day I'm on, really. If I'm on a bit of a bad day and I've had a bad day, I can be sort of then, I guess, prone to crying almost at that point. But if I'm having a happy day, I'll hear the song and then I'll go and I'll just have a moment or two where I think about a happy memory with my friend, and I'll translate it into a good thing. Sob story number 2. So in a similar fashion, my uncle, who passed away a couple of years ago in 2016, not really a couple of years ago now, but he was a Liverpool football fan, with their anthem being "You'll Never Walk Alone." And I performed that piece particularly on the piano at his funeral, and then we once did it in a school concert after that, and I found that tricky. I'd sort of put it in the back of my head actually by that point, but my mum came to see that performance, and it was because it was her brother, and she found that performance very difficult. She had to walk out of it, and she got quite upset, which then in turn made me upset because of it. It's that thing where you're linked, and then your emotions. You see someone else cry that you care for or you care about, so then you cry. So yeah, that's another instance where a similar thing happened there. Made me upset. Even to this day now, in fact, at the Stroke Association group, there was a man there, a lovely man, who really struggled with speaking after his stroke, but could sing, and he was a Liverpool fan, so he sang that song, and the first couple of times I heard it, I really struggled to not cry, because it already was an emotional thing, and for me, I could then link it to another emotional thing, and that was quite tricky. There's now 2 more examples, again relating to death, but this time the death of my granddad. Shortly after his death, I found a piece in a jazz piano book of mine that I've literally just had probably since about 2011, 2012 or something, and I don't play lots from it, but there's the occasional piece I like to just pick up and play when I'm feeling like I need to just play something different. And I found a piece called Charlie, which was his name, Charlie. Well, Charles, but Charlie he went by sometimes. And I just had a go at playing it. I stumbled across it, and I just found myself crying by the time I'd finished playing it, and it was so strange. The piece captured my granddad so well in the music, though. It had two main sections to it, a very calm sort of section, very like caring and compassionate, just like him, and then this suddenly cheeky, upbeat section, again, just like him. And I played this piece, I think I videoed it at some point and sent it to some family members, and my nan agreed with it. She said, you know, how could a piece relate so much to someone when it wasn't even actually composed for him, but it's still about him? And it's that thing, isn't it, actually, songs about your name or someone else's name, you know, they sort of often resonate with you more when you've lost them than when they're actually alive. It's a bit strange. Again, though, so the second example relating to my granddad was actually just about a week ago or so, and I was a bit caught out by this wonderful, lovely singer on social media who I cannot remember her name, but she popped up and she was covering the Celine Dion song, It's All Coming Back to Me Now. The song itself is beautiful in its own right, of course, and so was this singer's voice, but to me it just brought back memories. It brought back memories of me being in the car with my granddad when we'd go, you know, just anywhere really, to the shops, or he was just dropping me off somewhere. And he was such a huge Celine Dion fan, Duffy, Adele, Jersey Boys, the Overtones, bit of an eclectic mix, I guess, and obviously more. And this was one song that would be on in the car occasionally, and because of that, and because of how beautifully it was sang, so again, just how it's performed, I was just a mess, literally an emotional mess, and I don't get like that often, but this one just caught me off guard. And there was examples of probably more cringy versions of this in my life, most linked to death, some linked to love, some linked to just happy times with people doing things, and they spark good memories. Yeah, that was a long video, but I think it was worth going through, and it's okay if songs make you tear up or whatever. It shows that you are a human and you have emotions. But it's okay if they don't. It doesn't mean that you don't love music because of it. But yeah, all in all, I hope that answers your question. I hope you enjoyed listening to my sob stories. Cheers, bye.